of this video is to address the hips. People will say that they need to strengthen their hips, or they're having problems with their hips. Anytime you're having a problem with a joint, muscle, body part, usually you need to strengthen it. So to strengthen your hips, you have to work the muscles around them. And that's pretty much your core, your abs, your glutes, your upper legs. Especially the adductor and abductor muscles. We're going to do a lot for that today. Or I'm going to show you 5 or 6 ways. You should pick 2 or 3 that you're comfortable with, and then make sure that you do them consistently. So if you like the clam that I'm going to show you, for instance, you would probably want to do 2 or 3 sets of 10 reps of the clam a couple times a week to strengthen your hips. The way to remember adductor, or to tell adductor and abductor apart, is the adductor is the inner thigh, and I think of coming in as in adding together, adding more. When you put something in, you add to it. So the adductor is inner thigh and abductor is outer thigh. So that being said, some core stability things are a good way to start, and you can either use the chair or the ball. I've showed you this before, where you sit and you slowly lift the leg and lower, lift and lower. That's engaging your core, and your core is very important when it comes to your hips. Same thing on this ball, which is harder than the chair, because as the ball scoots out from under you or rolls around, you have to use your core to keep your balance. So this again is a great way to start if you're going to work your hips. And then there are things to do on the floor and standing up. So you might do this a couple times a week. You could do this every single day, and it will improve your balance and your core strength. Standing up, you can work your abductor easier than when you're lying down, especially if you have one of these bands that you can get at Sports Authority, Dick's Sporting Goods, someplace like that. I think I bought mine from the gym I used to teach at. So to work the abductor, the outer thigh, which is going to help you stabilize your hips, you would put tension in this band and then do leg lifts out. Don't bend your knee, so it's a straight leg lift out. And that's working the outside of my hip. Same thing over here. So you might choose to do 10 repetitions, 1, 2, 3, and 2 sets of those. You can, standing, use this band to work the adductor. It's a little awkward, and sometimes you'll have some crunching, popping, cracking going on in your hip area, especially if you're over 30 or over 40. Those things might happen. Now on the floor, the first thing to do is put your knees up 90 degrees, grab about your shins, and push into your hands while you're also pushing into the floor with your back. So you're stabilizing. So definitely there's pressure coming up to my hands, but I'm stabilizing my hips when I do that. And then release and do a nice tabletop and come down. Now, an awkward way to work the inner thigh on the floor is with the stability ball. You can actually just put it between your legs and squeeze it together, and that really works your inner thighs. You'll feel them tensing up. So you could squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release about 10 times. 2 sets of that, and that will work your inner thigh. Always do a tabletop to set things back up. Now I'm going to show you how to do the clam and something else that I don't know the name of. But first, I have to get something out of the oven. Okay. On the floor, on your side, put your legs at a close to a 90-degree angle, and you can start with your hand, with your weight on your forearm. If you want to, you can go down to your elbow. The clam is, you raise your leg, and then you open and come down. So up, open, and down. Up, open, and down. Up, open. Try to do 8 to 16 of those and you will really feel the burning on the outside of your hip. You can also, I don't know what this is called, but I've done it before. I've seen it on exercise TV and it was a killer. There was so much burning when I did this exercise. So I'm going to come down here and you raise your leg and you're going to take your knee and your foot. You're just going to take them back and forth to each other. And this again is working in here. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you might do 2 sets of 8 of those and you'll feel it right there in the hip joint, which is what you're trying to get at if you're having some problems with your hip and you've talked to a doctor or physical therapist about working these areas. And then lastly, you can cross the top leg over and work on the inner thigh like this, by just doing leg raises. Again, you're going to feel much more of the inner thigh doing work if you squeeze that stability ball. And just think, you don't have to squeeze this stability ball on YouTube. You can do it where no one is going to see you. Let me try the other side though. Okay, the clam. Up, lift, and down. Up. I always am awkward about getting the right angle myself. Up, tilt back, but you'll feel it working here. Up, tilt back. So it's 2 moves. Up, open, and close. Up, open, and close. Up, open, and close. And the other move was the knee to knee. Bouncing, you're just backing back. Knee, toe, knee, toe, knee, toe, knee, toe. And the other one was the top leg goes over and you straight leg lift the bottom. And again, when you're all done, it's a good idea to come back on your back. Maybe do this bridge again. And then lift up. Bring your knees in, relax your back. And if you do, just pick a couple. You don't have to do them all. A couple times a week for some period of time, like a month or 2, before you're going to see or feel a difference in your hips. But those should get you started. And if you have access to a gym, of course, there are abductor and adductor machines that you can use there. So that'll get you started if you want to do some things at home or even in your office.